Hello everyone, what is up? I am Rob.
I'm Eamon.
It is Monster Fuzz. How you getting on, brother?
Very good, brother.
Good. Plenty of episodes today we've done.
Yeah, this is the last. This could be. I don't even think it's going to be low energy. I think if anything, the first two episodes we've recorded have primed us.
Yeah, manic energy,
chaotic manic energy. Yeah,
bringing the manic energy to you.
Bringing it back
this lovely Monday.
Well, to be fair, this is our third mug of tea or coffee, so that's probably high caffeine content.
I've had a shepherd's pie and 2 snack bars. And a bag of lentil chips.
I had a little wedge of shepherd's pie.
You had a bag of lentil chips.
I did have a bag of lentil chips. I had a batter burger before I came out here as well. Yeah. I thought that'd be my lunch, batter burger and a sausage. Health.
I'm going to have 4 pancakes after this.
4?
Yeah.
I'm going to have maybe, what's 4? 8. I'd say I'll have about 12 pieces of sushi after this. Yeah, pretty good. And have a couple of glasses of wine.
We have a katsu curry.
I won't have a katsu curry now.
You don't like a katsu?
I do like a katsu curry, but I'm a big fan of. I love sushi. I tell you what's nice, the bao buns.
Yeah, bao buns are great.
Bao bun.
Oh, I'm well acquainted.
Do you know? I think I'm going to get 2 bao buns. I'm going to get 2 sushi rolls and 2 bao buns. I'll give 1 bao bun to my present wife.
Selfless.
And we'll separate the sushi equally, even though she's much smaller than me and does not require as much nutrition. No. But I will share evenly. Even the wine. Very good. Even the wine. I will share evenly.
Well, that'll fortify you.
Yeah, I'll help you go to sleep as well, which is great.
Good, yeah.
Nice.
Brilliant.
That's my sleep apnea machine.
Tonic. Right. Today we are talking about ghost ships. Yeah. You've heard about regular ships.
Yeah.
The Stena Line, Titanic,
ghost ships,
Lusitania,
ghost ships,
Nina, Pinta, Santa Maria. This is all them except ghosty.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Ships with ghostly properties.
These are, and we cover a little bit of a span here. There's some that are kind of definitely historically ghost ships.
Right.
There's some that are sort of like, well, this is more of a zombie ship.
Oh, a zombie ship.
And then it's kind of like a folkloric kind of an empty vessel that would spell doom upon you. And then some of them are kind of ones that they're not really sure that ever existed. The notes from this were generally taken from History Extra, so that's where we get into the bits
History Extra.
But it's a very, very simple episode. It tells you this is what a ghost ship is, and then it goes, here's 7 examples of a ghost ship, and then the episode says that's all for this.
Clear and concise.
What will next week be? I don't even know.
No one knows. It's a true mystery.
I nearly did an episode. I was listening. I think I talked about this. I was listening to like Dogman and
you do talk about that. Yeah,
but like there's an episode about death squads in Central America
hunting Dogman.
Killing people as part of like right wing murder stuff, civil war, and then all the dogmen following them and just eating the people. And I was like, this is such a cool episode. It was so good, such a good episode. And I wanted to do something on like something like that, but there was no way to find things you could actually make an episode out of.
Right.
Unless I ring the man and be like, tell that story again. Just tell that story again, will you?
Yeah.
I might start making things up. I think next time I'm going to make something up. Tommy Pugh.
Yeah, make it up.
Pretty good.
So that's what we've got in store. Before we get to it though, I'd like to remind everyone to check out our Patreon. You'll get access to our Discord where you can have amazing conversations with us. You know, I'll reply to things and say class and leave an emoji reaction.
Yeah, I usually don't unless you tag me.
Yeah, then he'll reply.
Sometimes I flick through and I say a few things.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Otherwise you won't see me.
You get your ad-free episodes, you get video ad-free experience also, and you get your Patreon exclusive episodes this month, where this month was Mental Health Fuzz as well as Patron Question Fuzz. Very good episode. It was a whopping 1 hour 45 minutes. So if you want more fuzz, you head on over to Patreon. You can do yearly as well if you like, and that's all good. Quick reminder, we're talking about Dogman. Check out our Instagram because the clip I posted of that Dogman went viral. It's the first clip that we've ever posted that went viral. Shame it's not mine, lol. But yeah, 200,000 hits for that now.
Really?
Something like that, yeah. But loads of comments.
Yeah, they don't translate to listens.
No, they don't. Going viral is literally inconsequential.
No, it doesn't matter anymore.
No.
Back in the day, big deal. Now,
it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't do anything. It literally doesn't do it. Like I sometimes wonder. I'm like, why? Like, so you get like when a clip like that pops off, you get a lot of followers and stuff, right? But like they don't interact with anything, so it's like, why do you even follow
Because
me?
they probably have loads of things.
But it's like, yeah, what do you, why?
Some
why
people
do you follow?
Some people use the toilet and they face the cistern when they shit. They're just not using
I think
it correctly.
those are the people that follow you.
Yeah, they're just not using it correctly.
But it's like, why are you going to follow otherwise? Like, just don't. It's strange.
People, my dad once, he gave me very good
Sage
advice. He said, Eamon, you can only trust me, your mother, and Anna. Everyone else is stupid and weird. And he was right. He was right.
I forgot
it was sage advice.
It is right.
Yeah. I think he actually said it to my sister, to be fair. But I'm paraphrasing somewhat. Everyone else is stupid and weird.
He's right.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely right. And everyone should take that same energy for their
because your family is unique to you. Like, so everything outside that is weird.
It's why everyone thinks everyone else's family is fucking weird. And why in-laws are like a weird thing because we're like, what the fuck? But your significant other looks at your family and goes, these fucking maniacs.
Stupid and weird.
Stupid and weird.
Right, let's get into ghost ships. Actually, first, if you have any ghost ship sightings, cryptid encounters, or spooky experiences, and you want them featured on our very own Mini Fuzz podcast, Eamon, where do they send them into?
Monster Fuzz Podcast at gmail.com.
Not monsterfuzz@gmail.com. Monster Fuzz Podcast.
Monster Fuzz Podcast at gmail.com.
Right, so Eamon, a ghost ship, you say. Why don't you fill me in a little bit? Tell us a bit about an intro about these little fucking ghost ships.
Yeah, the old ghost ships. See our picture there, there's a kind of an ethereal ghost ship in the background. A few dolphins. I put the dolphins in there. I thought you'd like them.
Your clip art was the
clip art, I did Microsoft in 97.
Good, yeah.
A ghost ship, they're also known as phantom shifts. It's a vessel with no living crew on board. So that's kind of fun. You find them.
You call them phantom shifts there.
Shifts. Have you ever had a phantom shift?
Yeah, probably.
Just like when you wake up, sometimes you're slobbering on your pillow. I'd call that a bit of a phantom shift.
It is, yeah.
So a vessel with no living crew on board, which is very interesting. It may be a fictional ghostly vessel, and we get into this a little bit later, like the Flying Dutchman, or a physical derelict found adrift with its crew missing or dead, like the Mary Celeste. Ghost ship.
Flying Dutchman, of course, not to be confused with the Dutch rudder.
No, that's it's a way to beat your friends off without being gay.
Yeah, you grab their hand, their arm, their forearm.
Yeah,
and you manipulate it in a sense. So
and but everyone does it in like a circle.
You don't touch.
It's kind of like the cogs of a clock, and as it rotates.
But it's not gay because you don't touch Mickey's. You don't have hand on Mickey.
Is it they move, you touch your own Mickey, or they touch?
I think you touch your own and they manipulate your forearm and your elbow.
That doesn't sound great, does it?
But that's a Dutch rudder, man.
No, I know, it just doesn't. Doesn't sound great. Dutch oven.
I might be wrong.
Why is it the Dutch? Because I thought it would be that you, like, sort of they would be on, and then so everyone's moving everyone. Because like why? Like
I didn't think it was a group activity. I might be totally wrong.
Dutch rudder.
But a Dutch rudder, I thought was just a one-on-one.
The Dutch, I mean, they are a horny people, and I think that's where a lot of this comes from. The Dutch oven, again, that's kind of more of a
farting in the blankets.
Fart assault.
Yeah, it's rough.
The Dutch oven,
that's horrible.
The Flying Dutchman. Then the Flying Dutchman, I think, is a burger with no bun, so it's like just the meat and stuff. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay,
I think so. I could be wrong about that. The term is sometimes used for ships that have been decommissioned but are not yet scrapped, as well as drifting boats that have been found after breaking loose of their ropes and being carried away by the wind and the waves. Now, in a more recent sort of terminology, the ships which travel with their mandated automatic identification system turned off to avoid detection.
Oh, so they're going rogue, like
they're more pirates,
right?
But yeah, ghosts, so they're not showing up on the radar. So we have a selection of some ghost ships. We are going to talk about the Mary Celeste, the SS Beishimo, the Flying Dutchman, the MV Joyita, Carolee Deering, Orang Medan, and Jian Seng, excuse me. And as I said, these notes came from History Extra from this point on. So shouts out to History Extra.
What's your favourite ghosts? Top 5 ghosts? Top 3 ghosts?
The lady that comes from the television
in
Samara
from
The Ring.
Yeah,
Ringu.
Oh, is her name Samara?
I think so.
No, all right, fair
Samara.
enough.
It might have just been
No, Samara probably. Yeah.
Samara.
Yeah.
Samara's pretty good. Other ghosts. The Ghost in Scary Movie 2. That was kind of funny. I believe Marilyn Wayans had sex with her and she had the bag on her head, if you recall that. That was pretty good. Other ghosts that are good.
Casper, the friendly ghost, number 1.
Casper was a nice ghost.
He's friendly.
Yeah, he was friendly.
So he's number 1.
I was going to say the Blair Witch, but she's more of a witch.
She's not a ghost.
No, she'd
that'd
be a
be
witch.
the Blair Ghost Project then.
The witch?
The Blair Ghost
The Blair
Project.
Ghost Project, yeah. Who else is a good ghost,
Poltergeist. Of Poltergeist.
But was he a ghost? He was a poltergeist.
They're the same thing, are they not?
No, poltergeist be a different entity altogether.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, how do I not know this?
And I mean, you think...
What are you talking about?
5 years, half a decade of doing
What's
this podcast.
What's the difference between a poltergeist and a ghost?
Poltergeist isn't a ghost.
I don't believe you.
It just knocks on the wall. It's a presence, but it's not a ghost. It's a poltergeist. Yeah, the polter. What does poltergeist mean again? Geist is sort of something.
It's probably German for ghost. I don't know whether I believe you, so I'm going to actually look this up.
Do you remember when we did the fella with the eyes, the peeper, and he was a flickergeist?
Oh yeah,
that they see, but he's not technically a ghost.
Oh yeah, so it is a ghost anyway.
No.
It is.
What's it mean, poltergeist?
Poltergeist in German folklore or ghost lore. Ghost lore, I don't know. Have you ever heard that?
For ghost lore, like.
A poltergeist is a type of ghost.
Yeah, not a ghost though. It's not a ghost, it's like a subsection.
It's a type of, it's a ghost.
A ghost is like a ghost. Like a ghost is a
sure,
ghost.
And
a poltergeist knocks the walls. A
ghost is a ghost.
A ghost is a ghost is a ghost. We all know this. Everyone around the world know. Yeah, I don't know.
How could I forget Slimer? Slimer is probably the best.
Slimer's pretty
Shouts
good.
out Slimer.
Movie Slimer or cartoon Slimer?
Movie Slimer.
Yeah, movie Slimer. Movie Slimer was a lot more difficult. Cartoon Slimer was a friend, whereas movie Slimer wasn't. No, he wasn't a friend.
Yeah.
They found him in the library, I believe.
He's a bit malevolent.
Yeah. Malevolent. But Slimer in the TV show, lovely. Yeah, I think we're becoming unhinged.
Mary Celeste.
That's about the Mary Celeste, yeah.
The most famous ghost ship of them all has to be the Mary Celeste.
Has to be.
Having left New York in early 1872, bound for Italy, the merchant brigantine was spotted drifting alone in the Atlantic Ocean on the 5th of December. The abandoned ship was found by the Canadian brig the De Gracia off the Azores. But there was no trace of Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife, their 2-year-old daughter, or their small crew of 7. While the cargo and crew's personal belongings were undisturbed, the sails had only partially been set. A log entry had not been made in the last 10 days, and a lifeboat was missing.
Oh my gosh.
What's more, although there was water in the hold, the Mary Celeste had no risk of sinking. So what caused Briggs and the crew to desert a seaworthy ship? And what were their fates? Well, there are many theories. Despite a lack of evidence, some were suspicious of mutiny, piracy, or an elaborate fraud. In the years since, natural phenomena like water spouts, essentially a sea tornado, sometimes leviathans will send them up as well. And I think Gyarados might have a hydro spout attack.
Leviathan.
Yeah.
What's that from?
Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Or fears that the gases leaking from the alcohol in the hold could have exploded. They were mooted, so it wasn't them and it wasn't the tornadoes. While no conclusive explanation has ever been uncovered, the leading hypothesis suggests that Briggs believed the ship to be sinking incorrectly. It was taking on water and one of the pumps was broken, which may have led the crew to carry out a hasty and premature evacuation. Ultimately, the reason for the Mary Celeste's abandonment remains a mystery. We don't know what happened to it.
And the fate of its crew, they don't know either. So it's like, can you imagine that? You thought the ship was sinking. So what is it, 10 people leave? And it's all just drown.
Well, they might have. They're missing a lifeboat.
Well, that's it. So they did, but they never found the crew.
But that could mean many things, especially if there's fraud. Well, it could mean they just turned up somewhere and just assumed new identities.
Yeah, I suppose I forget that you could do that back then. It's not like anyone could find Captain Briggs on Facebook.
No, like if Captain Briggs rocked up to like Ireland, like no one's gonna know who Captain Briggs is. Like,
good evening, good sir. I'm not Captain Briggs at all. What's that fine black ale that you were selling? You know, it'd be pretty good.
No, but yeah, like I mean, there's an infinite number of reasons. It would be very strange though that they would abandon it without leaving something in the log. Like even just like, here lads, we're leaving the ship. If anyone finds it.
Yeah, no, you're right too. There's a friend of mine, he was telling me about some stories about pirates, and he was telling me this really cool one where like it was a real sort of like wild west of the seas. So there was one story where he said a fella robbed a boat and went out by himself in kind of a rowboat to this big ship and just pretended he was part of a pirate crew. Right. And he said, listen lads, they've sent me first, but they basically said, if you don't jump off this ship now, like we're going to come on board here and kill everybody. Right. So we're giving you a chance. Everyone jumped off and then he just took the ship off himself. Like, pirates, pretty sick.
Good neck on him. Was he Somalian?
He was Captain Phillips, I think was his name. No, this fella wouldn't have been Somalian.
This was like Jack Sparrow, like.
Yeah, this is like more rum drinking kind of pirates.
Right. That's very, what would it be? Beguiling? Is that the right word?
I suppose you did beguile them. Yeah, you would have beguiled them.
Smart. Yeah. Ballsy.
Well, ballsy, high risk, high reward.
Hello, good sir.
Hello, good sir. I'm actually part of this group. There's only rum in this boat. Yeah, so yeah, pretty good. But with that, we move on to the SS Baichimo.
Where's that from?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay.
The Arctic Circle. This is kind of a cool one. This is a story that makes, when you listen back to it, you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Did you see season 1 of The Terror?
No.
You dumb bastard. No, it's a story brought this to mind. So the story of it is like, it's a similar thing. Ships that were trying to find merchant lines would get stuck in the ice caps. And in The Terror, this sort of weird polar bear comes after them, which is pretty cool. But this is a story like that without a weird polar bear. So for 10 years from 1921, when it came under the ownership of the Hudson Bay Company, the cargo ship SS Baichimo traversed the fraught northern waters of the Arctic Circle, or the Arctic. How would you say that? Arctic, yeah. When I first saw the thing, it was
Arctic.
No, they were doing an ad on TV3, and it was like, Kurt Russell's in the Arctic Circle, and I was like, what the fuck? I'd never heard it said Arctic, even though it's obviously spelt that way.
I'd say Arctic.
Arctic, yeah, no, but Arctic.
I would say Arctic as well, probably interchangeable.
You know what I mean?
Arctic.
Because when Iceman does his snowball attack in X-Men Children, he says, Arctic Attack!
He says Arctic.
Arctic Attack!
He doesn't say
Or maybe
Arctic.
that's just what I hear. Maybe he says, Arctic Attack!
He does.
Arctic Attack!
Proton cannon.
Yeah. So they're carrying furs and other goods to and from trading posts on Canada's north coast. In October 1931, it became trapped in pack ice off the coast of Alaska. So this would have been what happened to the poor owl, the Terror as well. Completely stuck and with no prospect of breaking free before the ice crushed the ship, all but the skeleton crew of 15 were evacuated by plane. So the men who stayed hoped to wait out the winter by living in a wooden shelter near the stricken Baichimo. But after bunkering down for several days during a blizzard, they emerged to find the ship had disappeared.
Oh my goodness.
So they assumed it had sunk, but in fact the Baichimo remained afloat and had broken free of the ice after all. After being corrected by seal hunters who had spotted it floating free, the sailors tracked it down, retrieved some of its cargo, and then abandoned it once more. Over the next few decades, the Baichimo was spotted numerous times in Arctic waters. Attempts were made to board or salvage the vessel, but the ice and weather conditions meant it always eluded capture. The last confirmed sighting, get this, was 1969.
Wow.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like 40 years later, basically.
Basically. So there have been sporadic reported sightings since then as well. So this is almost like the perfect cryptid boat. Do you know what I mean?
That's cool, yeah. I wonder, is it still out there? Surely
this is
taking balls now at this stage.
I mean, you would imagine it must be a really impressively built ship because it's over 100 years old now, which is kind of wild. But it could... I'm
ships
sure there's remnants of it.
Yeah, they get preserved for whatever reason. I mean, well, especially the stuff under the water anyway, at least. But that's probably down to the bed being like, I don't know, fairly
Well, it's just like it just grows coral and stuff like that on the ships, and they're like it's destroyed, if you like, so there's not much more. It's not going to evaporate or be eroded.
Like, it makes sense to me that people want to go down and see the Titanic, but also doesn't. Like, I would love to see it in person, I'm sure. Like, it looks cool. Like, some of the photos you see where you see, like, the original, like, railings and stuff, and, like, you see that down there, and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, but...
It would be cool, yeah.
It's so fucking scary.
Like, that's the thing about under the ocean. Like, it's real interesting. Like, having done a few dives and stuff like that, it is really cool. It's also pretty boring.
Yeah.
Because there's not that much going on under the ocean. Now, a lot of people who love diving vehemently disagree with me, and that's fine. Al, for example, he's a big diving boy.
Shout out.
But yeah,
diving, Irish diving.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like that'd be wouldn't it be great to just be able to go to these certain points? And in fact, in Ireland, there's riddled with shipwrecks around Ireland. Oh as well. If you go down to Tramore, I don't think people really do any dives out there. But there's loads of ruined ships in between the Metal Man and stuff.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be loads of sunken ships all around that way.
And you know what they say?
What?
Loose lips sink ships.
Yeah, you'd wonder. Like, I'd wonder, like, we had, I think my great-granddad had 3 schooners, which is a lot, like, and they're fairly big boats.
Yeah.
So schooner is a decent size, like. You'd wonder, like, what they ever did with them after they decommissioned them. Like, did they use parts of the timber in other applications? Like, you'd wonder, like.
Imagine. It's kind of like breaking down
your
inventory.
It would have been upcycled in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we're on to the Flying Dutchman. Unlike the real vessels on this list, this ship is a myth. A ghoulish warship unable to make port, so doomed to sail the oceans for eternity. And it is seen as a portent of disaster, so it's like aren't sirens like that? Yeah, like the mermaids, some of the evil mermaids are known as like sirens.
Didn't Odysseus, he had to tie himself up to the ship's mast, and he was like, I'm so randy, please. But the crew didn't let him get taken down. It's
understandable.
By those evil seductress
I think they're making are they making a movie based on
Christopher Nolan is making it. No, I don't know if it's like a modern retelling or what it is like, but
I'm hoping it's not a modern retelling.
No,
but
I'd like the old folkloric thing. Homer's The Odyssey. I have an original, not an original. I do, yeah. Someone bought me a really nice copy of that for my 21st birthday.
Really, yeah. I have a copy of it as well somewhere. Yeah. Hard to read.
Oh, yeah. It's
hard to read.
I'd rather just watch Christopher Nolan's movie, I think. Yeah. And hope that it's better than Tenet.
Yeah.
Tenet, rather.
First mentioned in literature in the 1700s. Supposed sightings of the Flying Dutchman, often through thick veils of mist and fog, have been reported for centuries. The future George V and his brother Prince Albert Victor apparently spotted this ship off the coast of Australia in 1881, yet no evidence exists that this boat was ever real. Instead, it occupies a more archetypal place in the lore of naval history. The Flying Dutchman has inspired poems and stories, an opera by Wagner, and more recently, the terrifying ship captained by Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I've never seen one of them, would you believe?
David Jones,
have you seen
Giant Squid? I saw the first one. I saw the first one in the cinema. I thought with you.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Your cousin,
no, I didn't go.
When he loved being a sailor. Remember he went through that sailor phase, and then he went through an Iron Man phase for a while. The sailor phase seemed to have stuck because I think they drink more rum than Iron Man does, and Tony Stark does have a problem, to be fair. But so I think
no, I didn't.
You didn't go? Well, I definitely went to the cinema to see it with him. If memory serves correctly.
Pirates of the Caribbean, really.
Yeah, it's the first movie is good fun, and I've gone on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland.
Good.
Yeah, it's good fun. Take a lot of artistic license with the movie.
Yeah. Dinosaurs in it?
There was a dinosaur.
Yeah, cool.
No, there wasn't a dinosaur.
It's
pretty cool though. It's fun. You're going through the water and all the pirates are singing and dancing. And
really?
Yeah, and at the end of it, Jack Sparrow's there. He's all like, good evening, good sir.
Why have you shit on my bed, Amber?
Yeah.
Get out, you bitch.
Wild. I can't imagine being so angry that I would shit on another human's bed.
I'd love to be that angry that I shit on another human's bed.
It's a weird way to express anger as well.
Shitting on something's class though. Imagine someone just dropped trow in your sitting room and just shat on the floor. It's funny, like you have to admire the neck.
I would laugh, like
you have to admire the neck of it, like
Just like, I think as well, it's a very vulnerable position to take if there's any fear of someone showing up there. Mm-hmm. Imagine trying to take a shit out of anger that someone just catches you and beats the shit out of you, like technically
kicks you in your shitty arse.
Yeah. I wouldn't like to get kicked in my arse while I was trying to take a shit, to be fair. I wouldn't like it.
Who would?
And on to the MV Joyita. Yeah. Few maritime mysteries are as perplexing as that of the MV Joyita, a luxury yacht turned commercial vessel that disappeared in the South Pacific in 1955. It had set sail from Samoa on the 3rd of October, which is my birthday, a sacred day.
Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm. Just walk away from lads jumping off the top rope. Mm-hmm. Sick and class. With 25 passengers and crew aboard bound for the Tokelau Islands, just over 300 miles away. But it never reached its destination. 5.5 weeks later, the Joyita was discovered more than 600 miles off course, still afloat, yet partially submerged. All 25 people were missing, along with 4 tons of cargo, the ship's logbook and navigational equipment. Adding to the confusion, the radio had been tuned to the international distress signal, but no SOS call had ever been received. The ensuing investigation brought no clear answers to what befell the ship. Since then, theories have ranged from piracy, botched abandonment after mechanical failure, kidnapping by Soviet submarines, and murder by Japanese fishing fleet. I tell you what, if they did the MV Joyita the same way they do the dolphins out in the cove, then yeah, that's pretty fucking wild. Do you know what this brings to mind? Someday they're just going to find Conor McGregor's empty yacht just adrift in the sea somewhere. Only remnants of white powder scattered along the ship. That'd be kind of a good end to his career. Just mysteriously disappearing and then coming back and challenging Jorge Masvidal to a fight or something.
That's an interesting one.
That's a cool one. They're all, like I said, all these stories interesting, you know. Bewitching.
Would you be interested at all now in the old Assassin's Creed set in Japan coming out soon?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yasuke. I'd like to play as Yasuke.
I think I might suck you in a bit now.
The big, giant black samurai. He's so cool. Yeah. Like, I watched the anime of Yasuke, which was class.
Right.
But the anime had like fucking dragon spirits and shit.
I'm sure you have to.
But apparently, I saw pictures of him. Apparently, he was like an emperor. He was brought in as a slave or something. And the emperor was like, whoa, who the fuck's that guy? And just, he served the emperor. The emperor made him a samurai. And he was like imagine a dude from Africa in Japan at the time. He was just towering above anyone. He was probably a complete specimen. Yeah. And I'd say absolutely ruined lads. Yeah. Class.
It's mad, like, because, historically as well, like, there's records, they reckon, of, like, Egyptian lads turning up in Ireland, like. People were, what were they, giving out that it wasn't, like, more of a Japanese guy who was the samurai there, but like Yasuke, that's they were given out because they thought it was fictional woke casting.
But it was actually,
so they were like, wow, Ubisoft are inserting a black guy into a game about samurais, what the fuck?
No, that's actually a
historical thing.
And like,
so that's what it
from
is.
what I watched the anime, so I'm not like a historian about it, but he seemed like a pretty cool dude. The lore is class. Like,
back on to ghost ships. The Carl A. Deering. In late January 1921, the Carl A. Deering, 5-masted schooner built for speed and capacity in the post-First World War shipping boom, was spotted off the coast of North Carolina.
That's where Jeff Hardy's from.
It was heading right for Diamond Shoals, the so-called graveyard of the Atlantic.
Now that sounds good, doesn't it?
Is it Diamond Shoals or Shoals? I said Shoals.
I would say Shoals. I would say Shoals.
It would take several days before anyone was able to board this ship, which had indeed run aground on the notorious Shoals. But the 12-strong crew and lifeboats were missing. No sign of them has been found. There was damage to the steering equipment, and an earlier communication with the ship revealed that the anchors had been lost. But the cause for desertion has never been ascertained. Could it have collided with another vessel? Or had there been a misjudged mutiny? The captain had complained of the crew being difficult. They always are.
You're all super woke.
Yeah, woke.
Use my pronouns, Captain. He was like, Jesus just turned the rudder. Use my pronouns. I won't answer to anything.
That's probably what happens.
That's probably what happened, man. What was this? 1921. Yeah, that's when. That's when
the woke mob,
as Mitchell would say. No, I won't say anything that he said, even though it would be objectively hilarious to repeat.
Trying to be funny, but
sometimes laughing comes to crying.
Does, yeah.
And we're just trying to have fun here.
Yeah.
And I think that the captain should have used the pronouns of the people that were his crew.
Yeah. Other theories have suggested that Deering was hijacked by a Prohibition-era rum runner gang or Russian saboteurs.
Rum runners? That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Lads who are
Jack
just
Sparrow,
like... Yeah, so like you're in the middle of just running rum and then you're like, fuck it, we're in for the penny, in for the pound, let's take on that ship. That's pretty cool.
I probably back then would have been a pirate.
Yeah, it would have been class.
Because like... You would have been grand doing it as well. Like, it just would have been like, right, let's get a gang of lads together.
Would have been pretty lame as well, though, because...
I would have been more of a highwayman, I think. I would have been hiding in the bushes with a lot of lads went and then knocks a man on the head as they come by with a lot of gold or something.
I think you would have been more of an isolated kind of a fella. I don't think you want to be around a load of lads on a boat or in bushes all day.
Back then, I could... Bush. Maybe, but back then, you know... Turning a profit might have... Well, yeah, maybe. It's hard to know.
Like, what are you really turning? You're just getting...
Yeah, you're robbing
shite,
stuff.
Like, you're just scavenging.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Stick by yourself.
Stab lads.
Take their loot.
Yeah, it's hard to know. An intriguing clue about the ship's fate emerged in April 21 when a message in a bottle washed up claiming it had been captured by an oil-burning boat. The note, however, was found to be a hoax by a local fisherman. But further investigation of the Deering was impossible. In March, the wreck had been destroyed as part of efforts to remove hazards, right? So,
and there was another thing there where they said the Bermuda Triangle. It would have been one of the victims.
That could have been in our Bermuda Triangle episodes because like literally we did 2 of them and I can't remember, it was that long ago.
We've done so many episodes.
There was that many, like, because that was a 2-parter, so there was a lot of like different stuff in that.
Yeah.
Trying to like rack my brain to go back, but I can't. I actually can't. But so there was in that episode, if anyone new was listening and they want to go back, like there was a lot of shit with that Bermuda Triangle. It was very interesting. It seemed to be more of a shiting though, but
it's a pretty large area as well.
Yeah,
you know, the SS Orang Medan. The tale of the SS Orang Medan is shrouded in mystery like every other tale today, marked by a significant lack of evidence and conflicting reports. In fact, that's all it might be, a tale, an urban legend. No ship of that name has ever appeared on official records or shopping registers. Shipping registers, rather. Shopping register, totally different. Totally different thing, dudes. Calm down. According to the story, the Dutch ship was passing through the Strait of Malacca off Indonesia in the 1940s when its radio operator sent out a frantic SOS claiming the officers were dead and that the remainder of the crew were probably dead too.
Oh no.
Before transmitting one final chilling message. I die.
Oh fuck.
That's pretty cool.
Burp.
Sorry about that. I die. Just totally disrespected with the verb. We shouldn't really eat shepherd's pie between episodes anymore.
No.
Like, it's tough work, man. I'm kind of... You put the heating on and fed me shepherd's pie. I'm kind of sweating now. My body's reacted. I've had 3 mugs of tea and I'm just like, oh, come on, dudes. That's fucking 2 more fucking bullshit ships to get through. Let's just get on with this. Yeah, it's not fun, actually, to be honest. You've had me here since 2 o'clock and it's now nearly 5 hours.
Gordo.
I know.
It's a Gordo session.
Be hitting into like, but this is baby stuff with Gordo. Right, okay. I'll be ready for this. A rescue ship rushed to the scene, but all that was found was the Orang Medan adrift with no sign of life. The bodies of the crew were strewn everywhere, fixed with expressions of terror, despite no visible injuries or clear cause of death. Before the ship could be investigated further, a fire reportedly broke out and the rescuers had to get clear of the ship before it exploded, sending the wreck into the depths. Join us in our watery grave. Theories have swirled around the fate of the Orang Medan, as has the question of whether it ever truly existed. But regardless, it's quite a haunting tale of lore.
Now, to wrap it up, we have the Jianseng. Not only is the fate of the Jianseng's crew unknown, but the ship's very origins are there too. Are too, rather. In 2006, the 80-metre tanker was spotted from the air drifting off the coast of Queensland in Australia. It was both abandoned and damaged beyond use. Where the ship came from, who its crew was, and what it was doing in that part of the ocean has never actually been determined. The tanker bore no identifying marks. As the Jianseng was not reported missing, the authorities could not track its ownership. It was suspected that the ship had been used for illegal activities such as drug smuggling or forbidden fishing operations. The Jianseng was actually towed out to sea and scuttled. I like that word, scuttled.
Yeah, scuttled is a good word, isn't it?
Yeah. Still, its sudden appearance and the complete mystery about it has made it a modern symbol of the chilling allure of an old ghost ship.
Pretty good, eh?
Yeah, well, one thing I will say about most of these is a lot of them are during war times when there would have been submarines were basically what you're worrying about there. The reason I know that is because, and I have mentioned it in the past, but you can find, ladies and gentlemen, an interview from my very, very, very own great-great-grandfather who was aboard the Leinster, which was a ship that was sank by a German U-boat. And it was a huge loss of life. It was a ship travelling between Dublin here and Wales, or maybe it was going to Liverpool, I don't know. And basically it was hit by a torpedo and loads of people died. So and his actual story is like he's talking about pulling people out of the water and shit. And like I think he mentions like their hair and his buttons and everything, all this type of fucking grim stuff.
Watery, briny.
Yeah. But long story short, a lot of this was wartime stuff, right?
Yeah, it seems like it based on the years. And as well, the technology now would make it sort of probably be very difficult to lose a ship. You know? Do you think that you have much sailor genetics in you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be okay with it?
I feel like there's somewhere in me that feels dying in water or something.
Well, not learning to swim will certainly assist with that at some point.
I feel like I've got in my DNA something about sinking in a ship or something.
Drowning
I'm
in
like,
the bath
that makes sense. No, being in a ship, yeah. I'm like, that makes sense. But this is a misconception like an idiot such as yourself would have. Everyone drowns out in the ocean, brother. If we're in a ship out in the ocean, it goes down. You're dead, I'm dead. You'll just die slower.
Yeah, well, I might have the illusion of
you get to watch me die.
Myself. Yeah,
and then you die.
Well worth learning to swim for that.
But that's the crack. Like that is the crack. We're all dead. As a matter of fact, it might be better that I can die quicker in the ocean.
Maybe a ship is in the distance, and I just have to keep myself afloat.
That's possible.
And meanwhile, I have you hanging out of my back. We fucking
unlikely.
No, you're right. Yeah. The reality is that, especially if you're in a ship,
and
it starts to sink, the probabilities you're going to drown inside the ship.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's better to know how to swim than not know how to swim. If you're in a ship sinking in the ocean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's definitely a skill that's worth having. Yeah, but you're to your point. Yeah, you're most of the water that people would drown in that's non-ship related, you can avoid by not going into the water, which is. Again, it's a great strategy to avoid drowning. Yeah. I'm more likely to drown than you because I know how to swim.
That's true, actually.
So, you know.
And you probably come closer to dying in the ocean because you know how to swim.
Or because I've over assessed my ability to swim. You see, this is the thing. You got to look at the data laterally. This is the thing, you know. You just go, Rob can't swim, sure he'll drown, but no, actually, when you pare it back, Rob's probability of drowning probably greatly reduced because he will never put himself in that situation.
I missed my window of dying in the ocean when I was a kid. I had a couple of close calls, and it could have gone either way. That was like,
was this when you would have been frolicking in Carricklow and things like that?
Yeah. Nearly drowned out in St. Helens one time. Where I just kept walking out into the sea. And
a few wrenches in your pocket and just off you pop.
No, I was probably like, I don't know, I was probably 9 or 10, I don't know. And I was like, let's see how far I can walk out into the water. Can't swim. That was a great idea. And so I got out probably up to my neck and then got knocked over. So that could have went either way. But
knocked back the way towards the shore or knocked towards?
Oh, it just knocked me under. So I just went straight under, and I was like, "Oh, I'm underwater now."
And you're like, "Right, I better go back."
Yeah,
I better walk back.
Yeah,
to the shore.
basically, like I pushed myself up off the floor, kind of, and got back up and back out. And I was like, "Oh, that was good. I nearly died."
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Paola wasn't able to swim, and she kind of learned more recently. Yeah, it's grand.
So I didn't know how to play keyboard. Now I do. You know,
pretty cool.
Nearly died in Splash World as well. That was my other opportunity.
We all nearly died in Splash World, to be fair.
That was my second opportunity. And both of them I avoided. So I think third time's a charm.
But when will you be in the water?
Well, you never know. Could fly off a road in a car, you know, then I'm drowning.
Yeah, be more worried
into
about
a river.
More worried about flying off the road in the car might be the bigger issue there.
Well, you know, it could be.
It's funny, because like we'll be going on the Stena line again.
Yeah, we will
this year, unless we decide to take to the air.
Yeah. No, be Stena again. Bye.
So I mean, could this be it? I don't think.
Could it be magic?
We'll be listening to that again. Barry Manilow 1. What the audacity again! Just the confidence to name your first album. Yeah, that's Barry Manilow.
That's a class.
Yeah, so you might get a chance then in sort of later on in the year.
Yeah, so
I'll save you. I'll bring us both back to Irish waters.
Boats I like. I actually do like boats. They're spooky. They're class. I like Stena Line. It's fun. I enjoy boats. I'm a bit of a... What about you?
That time we blew up that inflatable boat and went out to
that was actually the third time I nearly died, so I think I've actually avoided it actually because I'm a fucking idiot. When I look back at that one,
that was
when I look back at that one, I'm like, oh yeah, that was like, one where
even the fact that like a lake is so hard to swim in anyway, like a good
I would have been dead by the time you got to me, like because I would have been going down and I would have been like, lads, you just make it out to me, or by the time you swam out to me I'd probably be down at the bottom.
Well, seeing as I was the only one who wasn't stoned to the marrow bone, I would have been the one trying to go out and get
you. For
our
listeners who are wondering, one time the lads bought a really shite inflatable dinghy, and
we went halves on it. I think it's still in my dad's shed somewhere. Yeah,
and we brought it out to the quarry, which is basically a body of water, rainwater lake, and there's a little island out in the middle, and so I decided to get in the little paddle boat and paddle out on my Todd, and I didn't know how to swim, but also furthermore I broke an oar getting onto the island.
Yeah, it was.
So then I was on the island and I was like, I have one oar to get back.
So then it's like you might have to. Now, to be fair, it was more just like an extravagant.
What was
Lilo.
I fucking doing? I wouldn't do that now.
They were the all or nothing days, though.
I don't think I would have. I honestly don't think I'd do that now. I
think youth was on your side and you were kind of fearless. And you were really stoned as well. I think all those things helped.
But because even dragging that up onto that rocky shore, I was like, this is going to puncture.
But like we probably were never meant to make it past 23, and whatever way the fates conspired, we just managed to slip through. But I think nature wanted us gone, and it was just like, okay.
I don't know. Okay. I'm just thinking back to that and I'm like, what in the actual fuck was I doing?
Between the two of us, we've nearly drowned almost a dozen times, I'd say. So.
Since then as well, like a bunch of people have died in that lake. Like literally probably 4.
A lot of people jumping in, hitting themselves on the rocks, and then...
Yeah, or just people swimming, man. There's a couple of people that have just died swimming.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Again, a lot of people get really dumb with lakes. Because there's no oxygen, it's way harder to tread water. So you'll just gas out, especially if you're not used to swimming. Now you're in the middle of a lake, and you're too tired to get back, and you're not buoyant like you would.
Scary, man. Even just you saying that, you're like, it fills you with dread.
Horrible, yeah.
Horrible way to go, man.
And then I don't think people hid the body, the recent...
Oh, that was hid up there, yeah.
But it wasn't hid in the water, was it?
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, so that the lake's waters are nice and pure up there.
Well, I mean, based on what we're saying now, you reckon that there's probably ghostly hands reaching up to grab your...
Join us in our watering grave. But then again, like, I mean, Jesus, that story, I mean, heart goes out to anyone affected by it. It just sounded so horrible, that plane crash in America. Did you hear about this? The fucking helicopter crashed into the plane.
Oh yeah.
Jesus,
and they tried to blame migrants first.
Did they? Yeah, migrants.
There's a whole thing. They said they had reduced standards to become a pilot to be more inclusive.
So it was.
I'm pretty sure they just gave people training who may not have had access to it. I could be wrong. That's what I'm assuming. So I think it was. They're spinning a lot of garbage,
as always. But so sad. Like, it was full of kids, that plane.
That's disgusting.
Heart goes out to anyone affected by it, because it's funny, like, we don't really think about it, but like there are literally 2 degrees of separation at most times on this podcast. So like there's probably someone who knows someone where that has been directly affected by it. Like for example, we know someone who knows Joe Rogan. Do you know what I mean? So we know someone who knows Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
So do you know what I mean? So like the degrees of separation.
You're only probably ever about, and especially now that you're so much more interconnected with the internet, you're probably only ever 3 handshakes away from anyone in the world. Like,
so yeah, look, it was such a tragedy. They were literally about to land, which is the worst thing. They were
just
like,
hit into a helicopter.
Yeah, and they're at that height as well, where it's like they're. I just
the thing that's spooky as well with planes is that once they, like we saw last time with the landing that went off to the, it's pretty gross, pretty horrible.
Yeah, they reckon though, like, because some people were asking, do you think that they would have been alive when they hit the water, like, because the plane basically. I think that the information that's most recent that I have is like that it actually hit the wing and it blew up like the petrol fuel in the wing,
right?
And the plane I think might have come in half maybe. What it points to is like probably most people were intact and alive at that moment. Right. So like then you're hoping that something kind of knocks them out, or they're not
just
really
the rapid sort
well
of
by
drop.
the time they hit water they were only about, you see, I say only, but they were only about 300 feet up. Like they weren't crazy high to where it's like it's a shit height for anything like that to happen, basically is what I'm trying to say. So it's just such a tragedy.
A mad thing to like just even know. And just dark.
It's such a tragedy, like horrible stuff. But yeah, we'll leave it there for the ghost ships. I think actually, I mean, you know what we'll do? Maybe we'll do like a deep dive on one of the ghost ships at some point, because I think
a lot of stuff on the Mary Celeste. Yeah,
because I think for some reason maybe I looked into notes at the Mary Celeste at one point in time and never got around to them or something.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because the idea of a ghost ship is very fascinating. It's cool.
Just the fact that they mysteriously vacated. Yeah, it's a really cool thing.
And there's people who, like, they lived their life being just fascinated by a sea or by an ocean if they live near one. And it's like, they'll beachcomb every day. They'll find, like, they're looking for the mysteries of the ocean. Like, whatever comes up, whether it be that, what's that shit? Do you know that shit? That, like, whale fucking stuff, ambergris or something. Have you ever heard of that?
Amherst?
No, ambergris or something. Can't remember the name of it.
What is it?
It's like whale fucking. It's not whale jip, but it's like something that a whale puts off it. I don't know whether it's fat off a dead whale or something. Basically, a byproduct of a whale that washes up. It smells really bad, but it's used in perfumes and stuff's worth mad money.
Really?
Mad money. So like people look for that. People also come for the Lego that washed up that time. Did you ever hear about that?
Like a shipping freighter with a load of Lego
on
it? Or?
Shipping freighter with a load of Lego burst, and like to this day there's still loads of Lego washing up
occasionally,
all over the place.
You know, sea hash.
You know,
I'm sure there's lots of cocaine as well, stuff like that gets thrown overboard when the
must be addictive. Like imagine you're walking along a beach and you find something really cool.
Cocaine is definitely addictive.
Like if you find cocaine or hash, like you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna keep combing the beach. But like even if you found something kind of unusual, like message in a bottle type of shit, or like even like cool Lego, you're like, oh yeah.
Well, I was on Tremor Strand one day and a baby dolphin had washed up.
Oh.
And it was like, it was dead or whatever. But it was a kind of a mad thing because I'd never seen one.
Yeah.
So I was kind of standing. It was kind of morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting. I think that's it. If you could fast travel to different parts of the ocean and like as deep as you want with a light source, like I'd say there'd be so many weird, amazing cool things to see. Like, do you ever see when people are in those kelp forests and like the great whites swimming above them, and it's just so majestic looking, you know? There's a guy I met when I was diving in Kerry, and he was telling me that he was from South Africa, and he was like, yeah, I used to like, I'd go down to the bottom and I would see like great whites and I'd just be waiting there for him to go away. Like I couldn't, whatever about diving in Ireland and stuff like that wouldn't bother me too much, but the idea of diving where there could be like a tiger shark or a mako or a great white or whatever, something, a bull shark, like terrifying.
Then again, you know, like basking sharks don't eat meat, but come up against a basking shark,
you'd probably freak out, but at least, but you remember that fellow who got swallowed by the whale?
Yeah, that can happen with a basking shark.
Now, I don't think it'd be able to eat you.
No, but you'd swallow you all the time.
Basking sharks are, again,
huge, big, cool looking things. Like, and they're off the coast by the salty islands there, you'll find them.
Oh yeah. You find them in. Yeah, we went to West Cork and we did like it was like a boat tour to try and find whales and blah blah, spot whales and stuff. And we saw a load of dolphins that like were swimming in and out. So the front of the boat, they would like jump up and down around it and swim with it. I have some really nice videos of it. But it's amazing because you see something like that on a TV show and you're like, oh, that's cool. But when you see it in real life, there is a real sense of gravitas about it. Like it's really cool. And I think there is something about like, we've seen almost everything through a screen, but when you're there, and it just has this real sort of sense of scale. I'm raging we missed it when we were in Iceland, but we were going to go whale watching in Iceland. But we missed it. So the only thing with the whales is that they're very hard to see because they don't really breach. So you usually, like if you see anything, but I'll tell you what we do. Over the summer, we go on an old trip to West Cork and we'll go out there. It's like... I think we can find, like, not to go out, but I think you can probably get basking sharks. Well, you can get them off Kilmore. Now, I don't know whether there's any... No, you definitely can. The thing is, so the thing with the whales and the sharks is that dolphins are much more interactive with the boats, whereas the rest of them, they get spooked out. Yeah. Or if you do see them, it's, it's only like a fin. You don't get a really good look at them, But the dolphins are, like, class. Like, we saw... a baby dolphin and a mother dolphin both just breach at the same time, and the tiny little fin and the big fin, and it was like they were both on a cog. It was really, it's a cool. Now, poor El Paula was seasick. Yeah, she wasn't good. She wouldn't make a good sailor like you. Yeah, I'm on class. Yeah. Right, shall we leave it there then, folks? I've been Rob. I'm Eamon. Ghosty ships over and out. Ooh.